the point slope form of a line. This is the case when this is the case that arises when we have one point most commonly that's when we use it, but we can also use this if we have at least 2 points. So let's start with this simple case where we have 1 point and a slope. But before that, let me write what the point slope form looks like. So y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. That is the point slope form, where m is the slope, and that will be the point. So, which is why we call it the point slope form. So we want to find the equation of a line that passes through 1, 2 and has a slope of 4. So a point is given, the slope is given, so the idea would be to use the point slope form. So y minus y1 equal to m times x minus x1. So y minus x1, y1, it's given in the problem, y minus 2 equals 4, that is the slope, multiplied by x minus 1. And that's it. That is the answer. I am going to do a remark here. So a point slope form can always be converted to a slope intercept form easily. The other way, it's a bit tricky. I like to start with the point slope form always, because I know if I have the point slope form, I can always convert it to the slope intercept form easily. when you do your problems, is it necessary for you to always convert it? No, it's not required. But what I'm trying to say is, if you have the point slope form, it is a piece of cake to convert it to a slope intercept form. And I'll show you how with the example that we have. So our answer was y minus 2 equals 4 times x minus 1. So y minus 2 would equal to distribute the 4. You have 4x. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. So y minus 2 would equal to 4x minus 4. Move the negative 2 to the other side. We will have 4x minus 4 plus 2. So y would be equal to 4x minus 2. And that is the slope intercept form. Now, you may leave the answer as is, or recognize that I have 2 in common between 4 and 2. So I can pull a 2 out. So y would be equal to 2. If 2 comes out of 4, I will have 2x. If 2 comes out of negative 2, I'll have minus 1. So the last step is not mandatory, but it is good to know. Because 2 and 4 have a 2 in common, and all I'm doing is pulling that 2 out. So the slope is given, a point is given. So the slope intercept form is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So y minus of minus 1 would equal to m, which is 4, multiplied by x minus x1, which is 3. Negative times negative 1 is positive 1. We could leave the right-hand side as is. So y plus 1 would equal to 4 times x minus 3. Going to do a slightly different problem where we want to find the point slope form, but this time we're going to address case 1, where we have, case 2, where we have 2 points, but we want to write it in the point slope form. As I mentioned earlier, I always like to start with the point slope form because I can change the point slope form to a slope intercept form at any given time. So we have 2 points. We don't have the slope. So the problem wants us to write it in point slope form. The way to do it is, since we have 2 points, we could always find the slope. So let's start with the slope. So x1, y1, x2, y2. So the slope m would be y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So minus 2, y1 is minus 4, divided by x2 is 5, x1 is 1, minus 1. Minus 2 minus 4 is minus 6. 5 minus 1 is 4. We have a common or a 2 in common. So if I cancel it out, negative 3 over 2. So that is the slope. For the point slope form, all we need is the slope and the point. Here we have a slope and 2 points. It doesn't matter which point you pick. Both of them would be a solution, and I'll show you how. If I picked the first point, 1, 4, I will have y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So y minus 4 would equal to m, which is negative 3 over 2, multiplied by x minus x1, which is just 1. If you are adamant that I want to choose the second point, you would have 5, minus 2. So y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. y1 is 2. Well, I don't want you to confuse you, so I'm just going to rewrite this in terms of y2 and x2. It doesn't matter. So y2 is negative 2. So negative of negative 2. The slope is negative 3 over 2. X minus x2 is 5. So negative times negative 2 is positive 2. We'll have negative 3 over 2 multiplied by x minus 5. You may wonder, the one on the answer on the left is completely different from the answer on the right. So you might have made a mistake or things wouldn't work, but that's not true. Both of them are correct answers. But when you take an exam or a quiz, we won't give you both of them. We will give you one of the two. So I don't want you guys to do just one point and look for that answer, and it may not be one of the choices. It could be the other answer. So I would recommend that you practice on using both points to get two different point slope forms, but both of them are correct. Since we have 2 points, the first step would be to find the slope, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, minus 3 minus of minus 1. y2 is minus 3, y1 is minus 1, divided by 2 minus 1. So negative 3, negative of negative 1 is positive 1, divided by 2 minus 1 is 1, negative 2 over 1, we get the slope to be negative 2. Now that we have the slope, we can either pick 1, negative 1 or 2, negative 3 to express it in point slope form. So y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So y minus of minus 1 would equal to 2, negative 2 times x minus x1, which is 1. So y plus 1 would equal to negative 2 times x minus 1. That's one answer. Or if you picked the other point, we will have y minus y2 equals m, which is negative 2, x minus x2, which is 2. So y plus 3 would be equal to negative 2 times x minus 2. Can't stress this point enough that both answers are correct. And on an exam, if you see one of them and you derive the other, it simply implies that you must use the other point.